welcome back. I hope you're having a good day. Happy New Year to you. Looks like my New Year's gift is that I get my voice back. I'm starting to feel normal again a little bit. Was kind of really sick for a couple weeks there. I say really sick for about a week. And then I've just had a good 3 weeks of recovery time and just kind of had this lingering sore throat. Been actually feeling much better, but just haven't been able to really talk all that much. And so hopefully I can make it through the video today. Already I can feel it just squeak there just a little bit. I got two Schefflera. I'm going to work both of them today. I'm going to kind of treat them a little bit differently. I'll talk about that in a second. I had three. I'm going to show you a picture of those original three. I think in that picture there, this one is the one that's already all the way on the left. The next one I'm going to do is the one that's in the middle. And then the one that I lost in the hurricane is the one on the right in that picture there. I do believe that I got a little chop happy with it. That's the one that was in the terracotta pot. I got a little chop happy with it. The last time I chopped it, it wasn't recovering all that well. I mean, like it was recovering, but it just kind of didn't look great. I didn't see any bugs or anything on it. I moved it to the shade a couple weeks before the hurricane, and then the hurricane came through, and it was just gone. The pot was sitting there, and it was gone. It's actually the one plant that was gone, and I never found any remnant of it or anything. It was just out of there. So the roots must not have had a good hold, strong hold in the pot. And I think it's just mainly because I weakened it too much by chopping a little much. So I've actually, kind of got a little worried about that and left them alone since then. And it was even like well before the storm because I had seen how I weakened that by chopping it. This one here, you can see it's doing really well. Got plenty of aerial roots and everything. Real quick, I was going to throw in, this isn't a dwarf, but this is just a Schefflera that I actually had in my yard, and I lost that too. It's one of the couple of the only things that I really lost on the hurricane, and that one just toppled right on over. I tried to stand it back up, but it was way too damaged to really make anything out of, and to ever get it right in that hole again once it got knocked over like that. So I had to remove that. But all right, a little bit of a better look at it. You can see this thing's doing really well. Leaves are, relatively speaking, smaller than they were before I got it in this pot and everything, and before I got it this well ramified. Plenty of aerial roots growing. Maybe towards the end you can even see some of these aerial roots are actually growing up. Let's get a look at the other side. These are excellent choices for beginners. Kind of, pretty bulletproof in terms of the light that they'll live in and the pruning that they'll take. Pretty interesting. This thing had some aerial roots that were almost reaching that substrate in one of the videos. They actually dried up, and then now they've started coming back a little bit. But you can see here, a few of the aerial roots actually they look like they're about to reach the ground, and they just kind of die off. So some of them make it, some of them don't. But I'm pretty happy the way that this, of course I trim off anything that's coming off of a branch straight up, but this thing has plenty of branching coming out on the sides. It does kind of like a ficus does when you do a hard prune. It doesn't always just come right out of the end there. Sometimes it'll pop out of the side or whatever. And what I'm going to do today, rather than giving it a hard chop of any sort, I'm going to get these growing tips off of the taller ones here, just as they're getting a little leggy, and I'm hoping that maybe they back bud along the leggy parts a little more. Probably leave most of this alone. There is one piece there, and that's actually coming from that branch there and not this other branch here. Get in. If it was a little closer to spring, may chop it a little bit lower, but I'm going to make sure and leave a little life on each one of them. Probably doesn't matter all that much that I'm doing that, but it can't hurt. So this is a bit of an experiment. I'm also going to take out any of the older yellowing leaves that I see. And that, I obviously selectively prune plenty of my trees. But I've never really gone through, like I'm gonna take this one, but then I'll leave these, and gone through and gotten like almost every growing tip out here, and then just kind of leave all these. I'm hoping it doesn't make it too lopsided or anything. It's just this side here got so much more ramification than this side did, and so these parts kind of shot up, where this one has plenty of growth, and I think that's why it doesn't shoot up so much, because it has plenty of leaves on there, where it doesn't really need all that much more, where this one here is just reaching for the light because it didn't have all that many leaves on there to begin with. And a couple more of these yellowing ones. All right, now let's get the other one. Alright, so I just had a little error with my camera. I'm not sure how much footage I just lost, but the camera did cut off there for a bit. Done pruning it now. It was right as I was done pruning that I saw the error, so it might have popped up right then, I'm not sure. But since I repotted in April, I don't know if you guys can see these they're black wires that I have here. I actually, instead of trying to tie the root ball down, which if you watch my channel long enough, you'll know that I used to never tie anything in at all, especially in training. I figured I'd tie them in when I got them in a good flat like show pot. But started seeing the benefit on several of them. This one didn't really sit all that steadily in the pot to begin with. But instead of tying the root ball in, I tied each one of these branches off. It was repotted in April. It's done its job now. This tree is not going anywhere. And then I can just cut it off. My philosophy with not trying trees in at first is, didn't like the idea of, first off, I don't think, I definitely don't think, like repotting a tree every year is needed. I see a lot of people, repotting season, they repot like every spring. I don't know why you do that until it's good and root bound. And the way that, tropicals still swell up, I figure if you tie that root ball in too tight, you're going to wind up with the wire kind of tying into the root ball. So as I've been kind of considering, using it a little more often to tie in, if I can, I'll just go ahead and tie the tree itself in. It's a little bit of an eyesore with the wires coming up through the tree like that. But now they're removed, this thing, like I said, is good and solid in that pot. And now I don't have to worry in my head, like, are my tie downs cutting into the root ball? And then I, also now don't have the eyesore of the tie downs there. So now I just was able to take them off once I got root bound in there. This one's got tons of aerial roots going here. Hoping that it doesn't take too terribly long to recover. Days are getting longer now. We have at least another warm week coming up. So I'm hoping it recovers pretty quickly. I noticed that with no foliage on there and plenty of wind, that'll really dry them up. But I left a little on there, so that might help the quick recovery. And hope, mid-spring or so, I can give you a good update on both these guys. Thanks for watching.